One of my favorite things about Baldur's Gate 3 is the wide range of builds and classes that you can create. Every time I feel like I'm done with the game, I come up with a new build idea and decide, why not do one more playthrough? After CJ and I beat the game with Salami, I immediately started thinking, what other wacky ways can we beat this game? Then it hit me. Let's see if we can beat the game by throwing people. I mean, all the skills and feats were there, like Enraged Throw and Tavern Brawler, so they want you to beat the game by throwing stuff. Now, dwarves, humans, tieflings, even with a high strength, you can't throw them very far. But the gnome seems to be the perfect fit. Being both light and nimble, we could throw them with extreme precision at our enemies. And we knew of a place where we could even find some dead ones. So here are the rules. We could use spells to heal and buff ourselves, but if we are to deal damage, it's done by throwing gnomes. Simple and straightforward. So let's see if we can beat the game by throwing gnomes. Our story begins with creating our character. CJ and I are both playing the exact same race and class. Our race is the half-orc, and we choose barbarian for our class because at level 3 they get to subclass into berserker, which as a bonus action gives them enraged throw. After that, we give our characters the necessary cosmetics, and I try my best to make my half-orc look like Walter White. How'd I do?
Put your dick away, Walter.
After sawing some major logs, we awaken on some weird flesh ship. And you may notice we already have a gnome with us. We wanted to have gnomes in our party as backup in case we needed them. So, with the help of my fiance, we were able to create one ourselves. Say hello to Geeter Priffin.
Yeah, let me do the honors,
Yeah,
bro.
go ahead, please. I'm begging you. He
Okay,
doesn't mind.
Okay, good.
As we slip and slide through the sphincters of this ship, I normally stop and rescue my girl Shadowheart. But we wouldn't be able to have her join because of Lae'zel and Geeter are already in the party. So I had to leave her behind. With the help of Geeter having enhanced sleep, we were able to jump to the controls and straight up crash this bitch into the ground. We awaken on the beach and it's time to get the build going. We need to get to level 4 fast because that's when the build really starts to shine. So we set off doing as much as we can as fast as we can. When we arrived at the grove, the fight was over, which was a missed opportunity for XP. However, I was able to purchase the Ring of Flinging, which gives the wearer a 1d4 damage to their throws. I went ahead and gave CJ the ring because I'm a nice guy. After doing a bunch more skill checks and location discoveries, we quickly made it to level 3, which allows us to subclass into Berserker. This gives us Enraged Throw as a bonus action, so now we can do 2 throws per turn. CJ takes Geeter into a sorcerer for enhanced sleep and enlarge. I also went ahead and met with Withers and recruited the gnome Sir Fuzzlelump. I take Fuzzlelump into a bard because I wanted to see how well bardic inspiration buffs our throws, as it says it adds a plus 1d6 bonus usable 3 times per long rest, which sounded like an amazing way to increase our damage output. Our party was now complete and we were close to our 4th level, so we met up for our first real battle against a bugbear who stood no chances against our barrage of gnomes. And with that, we made it to level 4, which brings us our first feat, Tavern Brawler, which says, when you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon, or throw something, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage and attack rolls. This feat is what really helps the build work. So now that we have it, we were ready to actually progress the story. It was time to save Halsin. On our way there, CJ says he knows of a place where we can find a dead gnome, so he goes over there to collect it.
Release. Alright, yep, I see his mangled corpse coming for the gnome corpse cleanup crew. Sorry, Barkus Root, you dumb bitch.
I'm dying. Help.
When we arrive at the location where Halsin is being held, we see the goblins throwing rocks at our polyamorous horny bear friend. So we teach them a lesson by throwing a dead gnome at them. The build is actually pretty good so far, so we were able to take them out quickly. Halsin doesn't even seem fazed by the 2 naked orcs throwing gnomes, and even asked for our help to take out the 3 bosses in the area. And who are we to say no? Priestess Gut can normally be killed very easy by just going along with everything she asks you to do and drinking her sleep potion. But for some reason she was not triggering and she wouldn't hand over the lean, so CJ and I tossed her around like a hot potato. We had to do it, guys. It's just way too funny.
There you go.
Here we go. Bye. Oh my god.
Minthara is also very easy. We told her we were down to murder everyone at the grove, and as she's going over the bridge, we hurled a gnome at it to make it collapse and send her to her demise. Now Dror Ragzlin was going to be tough. We couldn't just shove him or throw him, And we probably could just hurl gnomes at him till he dies, but we wanted to see how creative this build can actually be. So we stacked explosive barrels all around him, super sneaky like, lit one of our gnomes on fire, and threw the flaming gnome at the barrels, and it actually worked. It wiped out everyone. After a night of partying and trying to hook up with Halson, we find ourselves in the Underdark. Our first stop is chilling with the fun guys, who actually want us to kill the Draugr and take Nir's head. As we were approaching the Draugr, we spot some dead gnomes and quickly fill our hungry pockets, and this left us ready for action. And I can only imagine the fear that these Draugrs faced when they saw a dead body flying at them at top speed for the first time. This guy right here, he kept moving around, so we held him down, surrounded him, and hurled dead gnomes at him till he died. After that, we made our way to the Grimforge, where we found our biggest treasure.
No more. No more.
Oh my god, Paul.
What?
I'll give you that.
I found it. The mother lode.
This is what we were looking for. All these bodies were ours for the taking. However, this guy thought it was a good idea to kick them into the sea, and they counted it as stealing if we tried to pick up the bodies. So we had to fight them.
Hold on. Right
Oh, I
there.
see him. Okay. So I'm gonna do the big attack on this one. Damn! And then the small attack on this one, and then he's dead. You guys like shoving gnome corpses, huh? This is where you die! Nice.
Oh, sweet.
After defeating them, we filled our pockets and took the rest of the bodies to camp to shove in our storage chest. And we figured this was enough to last the rest of the game. So we said goodbye to Sir Fuzzlelump, and CJ went and got Karlak, while I switched Geeter Priffin over to a bard. And Karlak will be going into the exact same build as CJ and I. All of this fast traveling to different areas and to camp triggered Nir's death. So we stole his boots and his head, brought it back to the Mycolage where we celebrated his death. After that, CJ got the gloves of Uninhibited Kushigo, which gives the wearer an additional 1d4 damage with throw attacks. Being the generous king he is, he gives them to me. Once we were finished with the colony, we decided we would like to have at least 2 more levels before moving on to Act 2. So we went back to the Grimforge to fight Grim, the protector of the forge. On our way to gather the materials needed to summon it, we fought some imps, which was enough to get us to level 5, which brings us an extra attack. This means we can now throw 3 times per turn. For Geeter, I am still trying to get this bard build to work. We have the box checked for it to ask every time we trigger our bardic attack, but it hasn't triggered for us yet. But I was determined to make it work because level 5 is huge for the bard, as it gets bardic inspiration back after a short rest, and it is upgraded to a 1d8 that's usable 4 times per short rest. After all that, we were ready to take down Grim, and we actually had a good method for it. You see, I was going to be working on the valve that controls the lava. I turn on the lava, CJ was standing in the middle where the hammer goes down. He throws the gnome to get its attention, which actually did a lot of damage considering most weapons won't damage it, but a dead sack of meat will. Once Grim was over there, Karlak would throw a gnome at the lever to drop the hammer on it. Rinse and repeat this one more time. Just like that, it was dead. We had forgotten about old Auntie Ethel, so we decided to pay her a visit and greeted her with a barrage of dead gnomes. She was quick to submit to us and offer her life and a piece of her scalp for the girl. We kindly told her that we wanted both the scalp and for the girl to live, and she agreed. CJ was kind enough to let me have the scalp, and after eating it, I could feel Auntie Ethel coming inside of me, boosting my strength by 1. We still wanted 1 more level before we leave for Act 2, so we decided to pay a visit to the mountain pass. And I'll be honest, we pretty much just went on a killing spree here. We took down some person who was wanting us to steal a Githyanki egg. We took down some ghouls, and when we arrived at the creche, we decided to just kill them after our refusal to give up the artifact. After that, I go and grab the legendary mace, the Blood of the Lathander, just so we can get some XP. And we take out some more Githyanki, bringing us to level 6. Level 6 has the 3 of us subclassing into Rogue, which gives us sneak attack, and this proves to be way more powerful than any of us were expecting. Geeter gets another level into Bard, and now that we were at level 6, it was now time for us to move on to Act 2. In Act 2, we find ourselves in the shadow-cursed lands, where the ground itself is hostile to our very presence. We run into some terrified harpers and quickly learn why they fear these lands, as one of them is soon taken out. We waste no time to get ourselves ready to mount an offense and quickly dispatch the enemies. We arrive at the Last Light Inn, and I purchased the Mighty Cloth. This gives me +2 to my strength, bringing it to 20. And it doubles my carry weight, which is really good because, you know. CJ meets with Damon and gives him enough internal iron to cool down Karlak, so he gets a hug.
Hey, Karl, where's my hug?
After that, we meet with Isabel, who provides us with a blessing to ease the curse of the lands, and things were going pretty well until this bozo showed up wanting to kidnap her. Super cringe. We showed Marcus how the Orc brothers handle things by hitting him with rotten gnomes from our pockets, and this throwing build is actually no joke. We learned that with us having sneak attack, as long as we had a finesse ranged weapon in our hands, it would trigger a sneak attack on us throwing gnomes as long as we have advantage against an enemy. I don't know if this is supposed to happen, but we took full advantage of it. After Marcus was defeated, I went back to camp to switch Geeta Priffin to a life cleric. I know Bard is very powerful, but for some reason we couldn't get the Valiant attack to trigger, and we had it selected, so if you know what was going on, let us know in the comments down below, because I have no idea. We met with some harpers to help obtain a moon lantern, and after a little convincing, we were able to talk this creepy spider guy into giving us his.
You can't be serious. You know what's out there.
The Insanity SMP. It's hardcore Minecraft, but everyone has unique superpowers.
Just take a look at bro's face. He knows we're lying. Like, bro knows he's dead. Inside the moon lantern is a pixie who we set free, and she rewards us with a bell and a blessing that keeps us safe from the worst of the shadow curse. On our way to Moonrise Towers, we run into the toll keeper who demands payment to pass. We convince her that we are the new hire, so she offs herself, which is a little dramatic. We arrive in Moonrise Towers, where we see some goblins getting chewed out for not being able to retrieve the artifact. And things get crazy when one of them impales Ketheric Thorm, who then completely obliterates her. He then says we get to choose how the remaining goblins face punishment.
You're gonna enjoy this, ain't ya?
You want to throw them at each other?
Yes,
Watch
I
this.
do.
Get started.
Oh, that one's dead.
Here, CJ.
Okay.
Let me throw him for it. Here you go. I'd hate for you to have to walk, CJ.
No, please.
Here. He's all yours.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah. He's all
Into
yours.
Into the bench.
Afterwards, we visited the other Thorms. This Obald Thorm can be defeated by just drinking with him till his stomach explodes, and we beat Malice by suggesting he let the nurses practice on him, resulting in some serious medical malpractice. We still wanted some more XP before facing Ketheric, so we decided to go save the Night Song by facing the Trials of Shar. After completing all of the trials, I learned that you can actually fight Balthazar before even meeting the Night Song. He is in one of the rooms in the gauntlet, so we quickly dispatched all the enemies that were guarding his room, and we went in and greeted him with some dead gnomes. And he is way easier in this area, so we were able to take him out quickly. We were very close to leveling up, so we went and fought these weird manta ray things, and that was enough to level us up. At level 7, we took another level into Rogue, which gives us skills like Cunning Dash. After that, we rescued the Night Song. She headed straight to Ketheric, and so did we. Back at Moonrise Towers, we met up with Jaheira and the rest of the Harpers to launch an attack and secure the first floor. And this fight is no joke. The Paladins can just push out so much damage, and they were easily able to just take out Jaheira. However, they proved to be no match against our barrage of gnomes, and we managed to take them out. It was now time for us to face Ketheric. We wanted to see if we could just talk Ketheric into surrendering, and it looked like we actually had him pretty damn close. And then Night Song showed up and ruined it. But this is why I love this game. All the choices you make feel like they really matter. Like, what would have happened if we never saved Night Song? Will he have actually just surrendered? But there's no dwelling in the past, so it was time for us to beat Ketheric's ass the only way we know how. And that's with dead gnomes. Loser.
Since you're higher up.
Nice. Ketheric had enough corpses being thrown at him and decided to bounce. So we made quick work of the rest of the enemies and decided to follow suit. We were super close to leveling up at this point that when we saw our boy Zavriel, we decided to save him and defeat the Mind Flayers. And it was enough to level us up. At level 8, we take another level into Rogue to subclass into Thief to get fast hands. This allows us 2 bonus actions per turn for a total of 4 throws per turn. And Geeta Priffin got some more healing spells by leveling into Cleric. It was time for the final boss of Act 2. When we arrived, we convinced Ketherick to just give up, and that summons Miracle, the Lord of Bones, and he is quite literally the god of death, so it does seem kind of fitting that he would go out by us hurling dead gnomes at him. During the fight, Geeter was able to cast Extort the Risen to make him drop his weapon, and after that, we took out some of the enemies in the room so we could focus on him. This is where 4 throws per turn really comes in handy, and the 3 of us all had a shared turn. So he was literally just getting pelted non-stop by a slew of dead gnomes. I mean, look at the damage we were pushing out with this build. Imagine if it was an actual weapon. He didn't even see another turn and was quickly defeated, allowing us to move on to Act 3. We arrive in Act 3 ready to wrap this playthrough up. On the outskirts of the city, we get a rude awakening by some Githyanki monks. We ignore them and flee through a portal. We arrive on the other side only to be attacked by some more Githyanki monks. Now I'm sorry, but there is no reason for them to be doing all those flips and shit. We make quick work of them, and I'm still just impressed by how much damage we're doing, and with the high strength, we can pick off our enemies who even have the high ground. Afterwards, the Emperor presents us with the choice of evolving our Ithlid powers, which we accept. I didn't think you could get any uglier.
Has never felt more
Okay.
connected.
That was me.
We arrive in Rivington to find some squatters arguing with the owner of the home they are staying in. After detecting his thoughts, we find he is hiding something in his basement. So we take out his bodyguards and then take him out.
He said, best behave yourself.
I can't throw him against the wall, but I could do this.
Once in his basement, we find that he is planning on killing all the refugees by putting bombs in a bunch of toys. So we go over to where the refugees are staying, we find the toys and disarm the bombs. We also make a stop at the carnival and find that Dribbles the Clown and friends have been replaced by doppelgangers. So we save the day by doing what we do best. And during this fight, we once again really get to see this build shine when CJ takes out an enemy in a single hit.
He's got 64%, and that would be 90%. Oh. Ooh, that did 24 damage.
That's
I
insane.
killed that thing in 1 hit.
We finish off all the enemies and move deeper into the city. As we were making our way through the city, CJ started investigating a murder case while I was still trying to figure out who was behind the bombing. A quick investigation let me know that we should go to Felagree's fireworks shop in the lower city. I couldn't find a way onto the 2nd floor, so I called on CJ and we decided to take everyone out. After we had finished the fight on the 1st and 2nd floor, we leveled up, which had us taking a level into fighter, and this gave us 2nd wind. The people who were behind the bombing were on the 3rd floor, and during this fight, for some reason, the guards around the building became hostile, but none of them proved to be a match for our ability to just throw gnomes really hard at them, and they were soon taken out. And after that, I helped CJ find and defeat the people behind all the murders happening in the city. Our arrival at the House of Hope has us promising hope that we will help free her from Raphael's grasp, but in reality, we just wanted the disguise she gives us so we can steal the Gauntlet of Hill Giant Strength, which grants the wearer 23 base strength, and the Amulet of Greater Health, which sets the wearer's constitution to 23. CJ took the gloves, and I took the amulet, and we went back to Withers to change our abilities for the last time. Our next stop was to take out Orin, and in order to get into the Temple of Baal, we take down Saravok, who is actually the main antagonist in the first Baldur's Gate. But look at him now, on the floor, covered in blood, being beaten to death by orcs who throw dead gnomes.
Okay, big fat mess. Oh, I can pick him up. That's funny.
Yeah, I was able to do it. You might actually do that just to get him the fuck off those stairs.
Okay.
Because it make it.
Get out of there.
There you go.
A sneak attack? Okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. Nice. Did he fall?
You have the floor.
I have 55 on him, though. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
After his defeat, we make our way further into the temple, and normally there are enemies who try to get the jump on you. But CJ had a great idea to go invisible and fly to the enemy at the top, because killing him results in all the other enemies in the area to die as well.
I mean, he's almost dead at this point. Oh, there he goes. Well, it worked.
This also was enough to level us up to level 10, which brought another level into fighter, giving us Action Surge, which grants us an additional action once per combat. This means if used correctly, we could have up to 6 throws in 1 turn. We are now ready to kill Ornn, and once she transforms, she has a condition called Unstoppable, which reduces the next damage taken by the entity to 1. And she had this stacked 7 times. However, our throws deal so many different instances of damage that each hit could take off 3 at a time. With how many throws the 3 of us had, she never even saw a single turn.
All the unstoppables are gone now. Because it does so many instances all at once. So many dead gnomes over here.
All of your friends are just watching you die to gnomes.
Dude, She's dead.
Look, the far realms, yeah.
Rest in pieces! That's so funny. She literally didn't even get to attack.
After she was dead, we finished off the rest of the enemies and obtained her netherstone. With Orin out of the way, our final target was Gortash. Our plan was to get him on the top floor. Once there, we just cast Hold Person on him. Once he was held down, we just beat the shit out of him until he died.
Finish him!
Sorry, brother.
It's been fun. Not really.
Now that Gortash was dead and we had the netherstone, all we had to do was defeat the remaining enemies on the floor and leave. But something weird happened. All the enemies on the other floors started joining the fight. And let me tell you how painstakingly boring it was to have to sit through every single enemy on the lower floor who was just running in circles because they couldn't make it to the top floor. After about the second time of having to sit through all that, CJ and I decided to just flee combat since we had the netherstone anyway. Peter was not so lucky. With limited movement, enemies were always close by. So I decided to just have him end it, and we would just revive him afterwards. We were now approaching the final events of the game. The dead gnomes that we have kept in our pockets all this time have somehow managed to hold up without just becoming viscera and slop. We're ready to face the Netherbrain. We had failed to tame the brain, but the Emperor gives us the option to become mind flayers, and something interesting happens. Karl asks to be the one to do the transformation. She feels that her engine is going out and figures if she's going to die, she might as well do it saving the world. She transforms, then assimilates Orpheus. Her changing into a mind flayer has actually saved her life, and she is no longer bound to go back to Zariel. We arrive in the now destroyed upper city for our final fight. We convince some fleeing soldiers to stay and fight with us. We then go invisible to get past all the enemies in the area till we reach the portal that leads to the Netherbrain. Once inside, we were ready to start chucking, and then we realized it was not allowing us to throw gnomes at the Netherbrain.
Let's just start fighting. All right, gnomes, don't let us down. Don't fall into the abyss, please. Can you go prone, Mr. Brain? Wait, what was that?
It would either just say death or path is interrupted. I even tried to see what would happen if I threw an actual weapon at it, and it was still giving us the same thing, that the path is interrupted or death. We figured this had to be a bug because Eldritch Knight is a build that throws weapons. So the game wants you to throw stuff. I mean, that's the whole reason why we even came up with this idea. We were feeling defeated and ready to just say it wasn't possible when CJ discovered if you aim the throw just right, you can hit the Netherbrain even if it says death.
Yeah, because it says death, but it's obviously pointed at the brain. So I click, and it hits it, but it hits it down here below.
However, we lost our gnomes in the process. So, with only a finite number of gnomes in our inventory, we figured it was time to call in our reinforcements. And with the help of Friendship and Dead Gnomes, we were able to take it down. With the Netherbrain begging for its life and offering us power, Karl forced the Netherbrain to submit, having it rid us of our tadpoles and having it destroy itself, saving the Sword Coast. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We also want to give a huge shout out to our members who support us every month. If you are interested in becoming a member, check the description for more details. And until next time, see ya.